Okay, Jesse, are you there?
I'm here.
All right, I think we'll get started. Can see people are still logging in, but we'll get going. We'll award the people that have showed up on time, and we'll penalize the ones that are going to show up late by starting. um, so welcome, everybody. My name is Rob Triggs. I am the VP of Sales for our company, CRM Dynamics. We are a gold certified partner of Microsoft Canada, and we specialize in implementing CRM solutions. And what we're doing today is we have invited one of our partners, ClickDimensions, and specifically Jesse Granlund from ClickDimensions, to present to us an industry spotlight about how different industries are leveraging both the Dynamics CRM solution and the ClickDimensions marketing automation platform to drive their industries forward. So what you'll find in this presentation, even though we're focusing on a couple of key industries, there's a lot of synergies and similarities between what your business needs today and what these other industries are doing. So I'd like to introduce you to Jesse Granlund from ClickDimensions, and Jesse will be our keynote speaker today.
Hi, everybody, and thanks so much for allowing me to be part of this today. Hopefully, you will all enjoy the content. Like Rob said, we are only going to touch on 4 industries today, but it's very true in that a lot of these marketing scenarios can be used across many industries. So hopefully you find this relevant even if we don't hit on your specific industry today. But my expertise in what I'm going to be talking about today is all in the areas of marketing with dynamic CRM specifically. And I know that's a really broad topic, but here's a little more about the agenda. So like I said, I'm going to narrow it down to some industry examples of how different verticals can use ClickDimensions and dynamic CRM for within their Dynamics environment. So for those who have not seen ClickDimensions, first I'm going to kind of hit on what it is and how it integrates with Dynamics CRM. I'm not going to do a demo today by any means, but I will be in the live environment for most of the session while going through these industry examples. So you'll get to see a lot of Dynamics CRM live, a lot of our product ClickDimensions live, and for those who want to see more, definitely connect with us after the event. So after a quick introduction to the product, I'm going to get into the verticals. So we'll be talking through professional services, and this example specifically is a tax law firm, but you'll find this to be really relevant to a lot of professional services organizations. Banking and financial services, this is an awesome story, basically telling a story about using dynamic CRM and ClickDimensions to help refine a customer onboarding experience, so for new checking account customers. Insurance, this is another really good example. It's all around using dynamic CRM and ClickDimensions to nurture and cross-sell policyholders. And then we're also going to hit on government, which is going to be a story about a public health organization delivering educational content to constituents. So all great stuff and definitely lots to cover. So without further ado, what is ClickDimensions? This is where we'll start. So ClickDimensions is a closed-loop email marketing and marketing automation solution that sits natively inside of Dynamics CRM. And this slide really shows the breadth of functionality that you have at your fingertips using this application. You're going to have the ability to do things like create and send email campaigns to lists of your leads and contacts right in CRM and your marketing lists in CRM. Tracking all of your customers and your prospects' interactions with campaigns so that you can take action, your salespeople can take action. You're able to track your web visits, find out more about what brought each visitor to your website, even where they went when they got there. Excuse me, so it's very granular tracking. You can build web content like forms and surveys with real-time feedback and even landing pages that you can use to promote events or content, all while capturing these leads and conversions right into Dynamic CRM. So you'll be able to do multi-touch drip marketing type campaigns with this application. So we have a lead scoring component, and then all these functions are working together to provide you full marketing automation, really helping to bridge the gap that always exists between your marketing activities and your sales results. And as a side note, if you're using GoToWebinar, if you're using WebEx, Eventbrite, even Cvent, we have integrations with all of those webinar and event platforms. I'm not going to be able to show that today. We just don't have time to cover that, but the integrations are also features available with our all-inclusive licensing model with ClickDimensions. So
Hey, Jesse.
Yeah.
Sorry, just jump in for a second. For all of the participants in the webinar today, you're going to see there's a lot of things here you're going to have questions about. So what we're going to do after the session, I'm going to have someone from our team reach out to each one of you, each one of the attendees, and see if they'd like to learn anything else about ClickDimensions and or CRM. Okay?
Perfect. So this is a slide that Rob and I always talk about, in the sales process. So we're consulting with people that are looking at CRM, existing users of CRM, because this is a really common story we hear from marketers. They're using a whole bunch of systems, a whole bunch of tools for different marketing needs. They're probably using a CRM system to manage their customer information, marketing lists, all of their opportunities, by using a different application for email marketing. And sometimes those two systems might have a limited overlap via connector, but the integration isn't native, so you end up working back and forth between two systems. So your marketing lists in one system won't match up with your marketing system your marketing lists in one system don't match up with your marketing lists in another system. Campaigns don't match up. Leads aren't the same thing. So a lot of people even using different tools for surveys, for website tracking, for social, and nothing talks to one another. You're in a situation where you've got data everywhere. And so the solution for this is having an application that provides you all of that functionality and all of the marketing and sales data in one central place that just lives inside of Microsoft Dynamics CRM. So that's what Dynamics CRM and ClickDimensions gives you. So it's a cloud application that sits natively inside Dynamics CRM. It connects to your websites and to recipients' inboxes, and all of the data comes back into CRM so that it's reportable and actionable. It's just native CRM data. And what's great about that is that way you can use native features in Dynamics CRM to get the data to do whatever you want it to do. It's not in a situation where the data is inaccessible by being in another database. So you can use CRM workflow, dashboards, you can do your queries, in general, just get more out of your CRM investment. And before we start talking about the vertical use cases in a live environment, I just want to point out the navigation and talk through the basics. So one license of ClickDimensions is going to give an organization using Dynamics CRM access for everyone in their CRM environment, so unlimited users. And once the solution is installed, you're going to be able to go into CRM to see all of the entities where ClickDimensions adds marketing functionality. There's no external portal to log in, so right in CRM you'll see a new ClickDimensions tab. And it's important to know also that before we get into the content that we have our own email service. So even though you're hitting the send button on a bulk email to some of your, your marketing lists in CRM, every email will be delivered through ClickDimensions. It won't touch a user's exchange, and you'll be able to send these in bulk individually or through CRM workflow. All right, so I'm sure everyone's eager to get out of PowerPoint and into a live environment. So let's start with the first industry example I have here, which is professional service. And keep in mind that these are going to be fictitious organizations, but they're real customer stories and scenarios that we've built out with customers and supported for these industries. So the scenario goes like this for professional services. We have Chapman Wright Accounting Services, who wants to demonstrate their expertise and their experience in the areas of tax law. So what they've done is created some content, which is a white paper titled Addressing the Biggest Sources of Tax Law Confusion. And their goal with this campaign and this content is to be known as an industry leader. So by creating that great, relevant content and to generate conversations or leads for their tax law service, and then they're following up that white paper with a webinar. So that's what this campaign is all around. So from a ClickDimensions perspective, there's going to be three pieces that I'll show you. A landing page, because they're going to need to spin up a web page to promote the content, a form to track conversions, and for people to be able to download the white paper, and then there's also an email to promote the white paper and the contacts in the database. So I'm going to jump into CRM real quickly here. Pull that over. So again, we're in Dynamics CRM. I'm in CRM Online here. When you pop this ClickDimensions tab open here, you can see you have all your email marketing functionality, see your web tracking, see the web content. So you have a bunch of new marketing tiles here to create your email templates to send your campaigns and get your reporting, things like that. So back to this example. We'll start with the email template. Okay, so first of all, you can create emails with ClickDimensions with 4 different designers. So you're going to have drag and drop style environments like this. You're going to have a HTML type environment if you're an HTML guru and you don't want anything to do with the wizard type environments. We have an in-between sort of freestyle environment. Everything that we've built out for this particular demo and all these industry examples is in drag and drop because this is by far the most popular environment for our users. It's very easy. You're basically just creating an email template with whatever combination of body and columns that you want. You can drag in your content blocks. You can come in and you can clone any of these, delete them, whatever you're looking to do. So very easy. And everything's also mobile responsive, by the way. So no matter what you create in drag and drop, it will always look nice, when it's rendered on a mobile device. So this is the email that this tax law firm is sending out to all of their customers. So it's addressing the biggest sources of tax law confusion. And the email template is really only one piece of this. So they're guided to download a white paper. And so once someone actually hits that download button, I have some screens pre-open here to get through this quicker for you all, but it brings them to a landing page. Now, landing pages are really designed to give someone more information about a very specific topic and asking someone to take a call to action. So download a white paper like this. Maybe it's register for an event, find out more about a specific product or service. So whatever it is, when someone hits a landing page, they shouldn't be confused. They should know what they're here to do, to fill out that form and take the call to action that you're presenting to them. So this landing page here, of course, tells them more about what's in this white paper. They have one call to action, which is put your first name, last name, company, email address in here, and once you hit submit, you're going to be sent this ebook. So of course, part of this landing page, a really important part of all landing pages, will be your forms automation. So how do you create this form and what happens after you complete the form? So here's our technology or the builder, I guess, for forms automation. So you can come in through CRM in our web contents area. You can build that landing page, by the way, just like you can create email templates. So if you can build an email, I always say you can build a landing page with ClickDimensions. The real difference is instead of with landing pages, you can embed a form and you can embed it as a web page. So here's that form designer. This again was a really simple form. So I'll give you the preview mode here before it's embedded in a landing page. So mobile responsive, just like our emails. You have the ability to build out form fields. So anything you want to capture from your leads and your contacts, first name, last name, company name. Beyond that, if you want to give them opt-ins, there's a lot of flexibility with the form fields, and these fields are great because they map to dynamic CRM. So after you've defined the fields and you've used the drag and drop type environment to build out the form design, you can set your post actions. So what happens when someone actually fills out that form, gets to the point where they decided they do want that white paper, they're going to fill out the form. So what happens in this case is we're using this actions tab to define what's going to happen next. So what we're doing is we're adding them to a marketing list, and that marketing list is going to contain all the prospects for the tax webinar. So of course, anyone who downloads this white paper, we're going to start emailing them and calling them about also joining a webinar, which is kind of supplementary content. And then we're going to send an autoresponder directly to this customer, and it's going to contain the white paper. So very simple example, very common example of how a professional services organization would use all of these pieces to kind of build out automation for a campaign. So you've got the email template linking to a landing page, the landing page with the form, and the form with automation built in, and all of that functionality, everything that I built out was in CRM. You never once have to leave CRM to execute this, to build out all the moving pieces. and to get the reporting. Now, I will hit on the reporting. First, I'm going to go through some of these examples and show you the execution side, the creation side, how all these pieces work together, and then at the very end, I'm going to get into what the reporting looks like. So stay tuned for that. All right, so the next industry that we're going to cover is banking and financial services. So I like this story. It's a Aubergine. I wish they'd come up with some easier names for me to say, but Aubergine Bank and Trust. That's this fictitious banking organization. But we're building out a customer onboarding experience for new checking account holders. So anytime a new checking customer comes on board, they're creating this personalized experience to follow. So the features that we're highlighting in this case study are going to be email marketing, landing pages, forms automation, but also campaign automation, which is our nurture marketing builder. And if any of you have seen our nurture marketing builder last year and you haven't seen the solution for a while, we've actually completely redesigned our nurture builder. So it's very visual. It's more of a Visio style type environment. Really a cool environment to work with to build out a campaign. And I thought I had this up for you. So we're going to start with campaign automation. This is our nurture builder. This is the environment we have so that you can just put your contacts, your prospects, your leads on an automated campaign flow. So what you're working with campaign automation is a group of triggers and series. So think of the triggers as entry points into the campaign. So someone can enter in a campaign, or not just the entry point, but also the point in which the action that moves someone to a new series. So the triggers are submitted a form, they interact in a certain way with an email campaign, added to a marketing list, or you can have your salespeople or people with access to CRM manually adding contacts to a campaign. And then your series, this will be where all of your actions and timers take place. So you'll see that as we go through the demo. So you can drag this nurture on for as long as you want, and once you associate these people to a list or whatever trigger that you choose, everyone's going to be running through the campaign at their own pace. So you could have thousands of people going through this, all it takes, depending on how they're interacting, basically. It's really set it and forget it. So this tends to be, a place that people really start, their wheels start spinning. They get really excited because there's a lot you can do with this, a lot of different relevant examples. This nurture is built out so that anyone who hits a marketing list in CRM for new checking account customers is started in the campaign. So the trigger is entering through a marketing list. Once they hit that marketing list, we're sending a welcome message. And we're going to wait 5 days. That's enough time for them to get the debit card that we've sent them. And then we're going to send an email. And this email template looks up to all of the templates that you've created with any of the designers in ClickDimensions. You set the subject line, the pre-header text, all that fun stuff. And I think I have the template out here. Nope, I do not. So I'm going to open this up for you and show you what this looks like so you can see what our call to actions are. So for new checking account customers, I hit that list, they're getting this email, and it has some personalization in here. This is one of the cool things about our tool, the places where the integration shows its strength. You can come into the templates and you can hit this little personalization screen and bring in information that lives in your lead, contact, or account record. So we're just bringing the first name of the contact in the marketing list dynamically into the template. So our call to actions on this email, first we're saying, did you receive your debit card? Click here if you haven't, and someone will be in touch with you. But then, of course, we're taking this opportunity to cross-sell different credit products. So click here to learn more. Auto loans, credit cards, you name it, we have it all, so click here to learn more. So that's the template that we're sending the first email in the campaign automation. And then as far as what happens next, we're using a couple different triggers here. So we're saying first, if they clicked on that link that shows that they have not received their debit card, we're going to take them up to this string, which is a debit card follow-up. So it's basically sending them a thank you message, assigning this to the card team, and notifying the card team, card not received. This is going to be just a simple email in the card team's inbox, notifying them to get in touch with this customer. So if they've clicked on that link and submitted the credit form, then we're going to have a different team, which is a credit team, to begin the follow-up. So it's just notifying them again with an email. You could also set a task in CRM for them, so there's a lot of flexibility within the series. So if all is good, they received their debit card, they didn't click on that link, then we're going to take them through some other steps in our onboarding process. So we want them to download our app. So it's just a series that says, here's more information about, here's the next step as a customer, as a trusted customer with us, download our app, and then setting up account alerts, online bill pay. So it's just kind of engaging this person once they've become a new customer. So I think this is a really great example. Now I promised I'd show some stats later on how the data comes into CRM from your campaigns, but this is one I'll just give you kind of a quick peek into the statistics of the nurture campaign specifically. And again, this is fictitious. We don't have anyone running through this campaign. We sort of just built this out for the demo with relevant examples, but this gives you a good idea of what the statistics would look like. You have at each series and each trigger, you're going to see a percentage, a little running guy, and a completed flag here. So this shows the percentage of people running in the campaign down here, and then the percentage of people who completed this series, and then you know, it kind of just shows you every step of the way. So it'll give you an idea of where you lost people, where people are hung up, things like that. So you got a nice visual there, and then this participants actually would show you a list of every contact in your database who's running through that campaign. So that is the example that I have for banking. So we'll move on to the next example, kind of firing through these here, but this is for insurance. And the insurance industry is one that we've been really running into a lot lately. So the scenario that we built out here will show a relevant way that marketers in this insurance industry would use ClickDimensions. It's a story about Mountain Mutual Insurance, who wanted to tap into their existing intelligence about their policyholders so they can turn important life events or demographic information into a cross-selling strategy, which ultimately leads to customer stickiness. So using, again, the campaign automation builder, you'll see that in the next two examples. This marketing team created a nurture campaign aimed at policyholders, actually auto policyholders with dependents that would soon be of legal driving age. So we're going to have the same four key features as the last example: campaign automation, or what we call nurture marketing, email marketing, of course, landing pages, and forms automation. Okay, so let's get back into CRM. Hopefully I'm not making you too dizzy here. And we'll go into campaign automation. I'm going to show you I kind of had these screens open, but I want to show you how to get there, how to get into each piece with this example. So, you know, you can see that I don't leave CRM at any time within the demo. I'm always kind of within the CRM environment to access all these different moving pieces. So we'll go into our insurance example here. So I'm going to open this full screen. And you have another campaign automation. So anytime, we've got a lot of information. So if we're an insurance company here and we're selling, we're looking to cross-sell this auto policies to any customers in our database that we know, you know, have a dependent that will turn 15 this year in their driving age. So this campaign is basically geared for, you know, workflow to kick in and push people into this campaign when there's a field in CRM that indicates that it's time to put them through this campaign because someone's going to be turning 15 this year. So there's some workflow that kind of has to happen on the front side of this, but this is the way that you'd structure a campaign like this. So anyone who meets that criteria is going to be sent the first email. Okay, so again, this looks up to an email template in ClickDimensions, and this email template is a little bit different but has a lot of the same structure as the other ones. Mountain Mutual, are you ready to have a teen driver? It just basically pulls in actually the name of the dependent. So we have this set so that in CRM we know the name of all of the dependents linked up to a specific contact. So we can actually bring them in dynamically into the template, and it even includes their policy number because we have that information in CRM as well. So that's the template we're working with, and we'll go back to the campaign automation and show you what happens next. Okay, so we're sending the first email within the series, and then we're saying, did they click the Contact Me button? If yes, then what we're doing is we're notifying the owner. We're creating a task in CRM with one of our, within the series here to call that policyholder because they're interested in adding a new dependent driver to the policy. And then we have wait conditions. So these are all the actions and timers, by the way. So you can send your emails, add people to lists, create your task, do wait timers and date timers. So if they click on that button to find out more, we're notifying the salesperson, the owner of that record, so that they can get in touch with them. And then we're also creating a negative node, which if they didn't click on that first email, we're going to send them a reminder email. And this is a similar email. We're just trying to catch their attention in a different way. And if they clicked on the second email, they're going back into this series, which is notifying the salesperson again. And it's actually sending them an invite to a webinar, and that webinar is about teen driver safety, right? And then we have a negative path that just keeps reminding them. So we've got a second reminder email, a third reminder email, and then we're removing them from the list, the campaign list here, if they go through the fourth email and they haven't interacted. So coming back up to this series here, we're sending an email with an invite to a webinar, and that webinar, that invitation includes a form so they can actually register through ClickDimensions forms through CRM, and we're using a form trigger to say if they registered for that webinar, we're sending a thank you email, and campaign is over. So same statistics tab, of course. You can see where people are at each phase within the nurture. You'll be able to see a running list of participants, but a lot of the same moving pieces. So you've got campaign automation, a whole bunch of places within the campaign where you have email templates. On those email templates, you're linking to landing pages or forms with call to action, so you're able to track a lot of these moving pieces within CRM. Okay, so that is insurance, and now kind of the last piece here before we go into the reporting is a government example. So a very common challenge, we have a lot of government clients, and a very common challenge for government agencies is to automate their, many aspects of communicating with their constituents. So this story is about Finn County Public Health, who's long been known for educating the public on matters of public health and safety, but wanted to kind of streamline that process and make their communications more effective. It's really an awareness campaign for home safety, where their goal is to educate people on things like fire safety, water quality, and carbon monoxide. So we'll get into it here. This will look familiar because, again, we're moving right into campaign automation. Okay, in the marketing section, I'm hitting campaign automation here, and I'm going to go right into this example. So here's our government awareness campaign. So what we're doing is we've got a marketing list of people that we want to run through this awareness campaign. And by the way, you can have multiple entry points within a campaign. So if you wanted to have this campaign set up so that it's run by a marketing list, but also you want people to be able to manually put someone into a campaign, and maybe if they've submitted a certain form they're entering into the campaign, there's no limit to the entry points here. So once they hit that marketing list, we're sending the first email, which is just an email about water testing. It's one of the topics here that we're covering around home safety. So we're educating people about water testing, carbon monoxide, and fire safety, and then ultimately we have a fire safety workbook that we want people to download. It's a landing page with the form. So again, if they've clicked on a link in an email to learn more about the water kit, we're sending them an email with a way that they can download more information about a water kit. Again, if they fill out a form, they can go through a positive series. We could have a negative node set up here as well, but if they didn't click on the water testing email, we're taking them down to carbon monoxide email. And then again, it's going to give them the opportunity to download a form or download a white paper, and then if it moves them into our fire safety email. So fire safety email leads to a home safety workbook. So this campaign goes through, I think we have a month of wake conditions. So it's 1 month of awareness campaign on different topics, and giving them the ability to download essentially a home safety workbook. So you can tell there's a lot of similarities here. First, in the technology that we're using. So campaign automations, the email marketing, landing pages, and forms, and all the automation behind them. A lot of the concepts are similar, but different industries. So these are kind of the moving pieces that I wanted to show you with the industry examples. Now you're probably curious to know, how does the reporting all pull back into CRM? What is are there visual reports that come along with this? And the answer is yes, absolutely. So all of that can be found within Dynamic CRM as well. This is my production environment, so we have a lot of, I showed you some fictitious campaigns, but we have a lot of very real campaigns. Our marketing team uses this every day to send out sales emails on behalf of the sales teams, just kind of notifying the salespeople along the way, sending out our monthly newsletters. We do product updates. We promote events that we're hosting. So again, production environments, so you'll get some real live data here. But this specifically is a look at all the newsletters that we've sent out for over a year. And I'm just going to go into one of these. You'll notice the October newsletter. It showed you all the deliveries, the opens, the clicks, and interactions. This is the email send record. If you're not using the campaign automation, you're just doing simply a bulk email send to marketing lists, like the first example. You put your subject line in here, tie in the email template, set the from properties, set when you want this to go out, so this can go out right away or you can queue it up on a later date. And here are your marketing lists. So again, any combination of dynamic or static marketing lists can be put into this. So once you've actually hit the send button up here on an email send, you can scroll down and you can see actually this is the template that we sent out for the October newsletter. You can see the overall performance. So we start generating these after the email is sent and the data starts coming in real time. So you'll be able to see how many messages were sent, the specific interactions and bounce scores, click rates and open rates. You see deliverability scores here. If I wanted to see more of a visual heat map, I can do that. This shows you the percentage of clicks anywhere where there was a URL on the template. So 14.31% of clicks were here on this article, and you can kind of scroll through the template and see just the popularity of all the different areas. And you can also do split testing, and what's really cool about that from a reporting perspective is that you can see both, if you did a split test on 2 different templates, you can see these stats on either template or on both templates within the same report here. Now, we also have an email click report. We'll let this load here, but this is going to take you into a little bit more of a granular report. So it shows you all the links within the template, and then by unique clicks and total clicks, the number of clicks on each link. And I can go into any of these. It looks like this was a really popular template. It shows you the specific contacts that interacted with those links or that specific link. And I can go into any contact right from here. And now, marketers love this because they're able to do all the things that they need to do from a marketing perspective, and they can also see all the things that they need to see from a marketing perspective from a reporting. But, I always kind of tell people that to put their sales hat on for just a minute, because this is one of the places, again, where the integration shows its strength. No other tool in the market today is going to be able to give you a native way of seeing everything that marketing has been doing at the contact level. So when I'm going into one of my contacts and I want to know their most recent interactions with email campaigns, I just come into this profile section. There are a couple different places you can see this, but I like to come to this profile section because it's actually giving me kind of a one-stop place for every interaction. So this Steve Miles here, this is actually a customer in our database that I always pick on. It shows you his lead score. His lead score is based on the tracking summary down here. This top part is our social discovery, so it takes his email address and it goes out and it finds them anywhere it can on the social web. So it found him on LinkedIn here, pulls in his experience from LinkedIn, it pulls in a photo if it finds him, and then as I scroll through, you have the ability to see in subsequent order here every interaction, so every click on an email campaign, every visit to the website. If I went into, let's go into this 6-page visit here. We haven't talked a lot about web tracking, but alongside this email marketing functionality, you've got the ability to see everything happening on your website. You'll see here when I go through this how granular this gets. So I can see that Steve Miles came on the website on October 20th. He looked at 6 pages for 850 seconds, developed a lead score of 23 on this visit, came in reading about campaign automation, which is that nurture functionality. He left on the same page. He came in direct. If this were coming in from Google or LinkedIn, you'd be able to see the referring host and even the keywords if it was a Bing search. And if I go to page views, this actually shows me what specific 6 pages that he was on and how long in seconds he was on each page. So the lead scoring, the way this works is by default every page view is scored a 3, but you can definitely customize this. So if someone has a pricing page or some conversion page that they need to score higher than others, you can fully control that. So lots of good functionality around the reporting, both in aggregate. There is one more thing I want to show you in regards to reporting. And I hope I didn't click out of it here. Okay, so I'm sure that all of you have heard about Power BI if you're evaluating Dynamics CRM or you're a Dynamics CRM user. ClickDimensions makes it easy for users to connect to Power BI. We've actually created a content pack, so you can actually go through the catalog in Power BI and you can just select ClickDimensions and pull in your most recent 30 days of activity. So the dashboards are already pre-built. You just select the content pack and it takes you through the wizards to answer a couple questions, and you can come right into your dashboard to see some really great visual additional reporting or reports that are kind of outside CRM. So this one specifically shows you the visits to your website by referring type over the last 30 days. So it shows you the visits from direct traffic, email, whatever you're looking for. This one here is top 10 visits by referring type. I love this map because it's very visual and you can drill into it as deep as you want. This is visits by location over the last 30 days. Posted forms by month, so we share a lot of best practices. We have a lot of really great ebooks, white papers, like those industry case studies. We can kind of see how the forms are trending month by month. Shows me the visits from the last 24 hours. And kind of the cool part about this is you can ask Power BI a question. So visits by country. If I wanted to see that, or if I had a question I wanted to ask a Power BI, it just pulls it into a dashboard. So no work in actually creating the dashboard. You just type it in and it's ready to go. So that's visits by country. You could type in, clicks by email template name, so you can see what templates are getting you the most clicks. So lots of kind of fun ways that you can play around with Power BI. So I wanted to make sure to show that today, because when people talk about reporting and Dynamics CRM together, generally you've got Power BI coming into the conversation. So before I end here and let Rob kind of close things out, I want to make sure everybody knows that, even though we went through these specific examples very quickly, we have all of these white papers. If you didn't see it in the invitation, we'll send a follow-up email here where you have kind of a second opportunity to read the case study and learn more about how to set things up for the specific industry if you're a Dynamics CRM and ClickDimensions user. we have one for every industry and even more. I think we have 20 different industry case studies that we have to share with you. So reach out to Rob and myself if we didn't cover your industry and you want to learn more, or you have specific use cases or scenarios that you just want to have kind of a one-to-one conversation with trying to figure out how to address. We're more than happy to set up some time with you personally. So
Hey,
I'll pass
hey
the mic
Jesse.
for Rob here. Yeah.
So we've got a few questions coming in. So for those of you who maybe have never been on a GoToMeeting session before, in the tool, in the GoToMeeting tool, there is a question pane. So you can click that and you can put a question in. And we've had a few people put some questions in, so I'll present them now. But while I'm doing that, if anyone has questions, please click on that link, put your question in the tool, and we'll read it out here shortly. Okay, so Jesse, the first one. This one is, how did you know it was Steve Miles on your website?
That's a great question, and I should have had my slide here ready to show this, but essentially there's two ways that an individual, an anonymous visitor, can identify themselves. So by either clicking on a link in an email campaign, on a ClickDimensions email campaign, or filling out a form. That's how that cookie is tied to the right contact in CRM. So we put a cookie on the browser. As long as you have the ClickDimensions tracking script on your website, we'll put a cookie on the browser for every anonymous visitor. And we'll track IP organization, where they're coming from, all the visits and page view information, but we can't tell who that specific anonymous visitor is until they've taken one of those two actions. So clicked on a link in an email campaign or filled out a form. Once that conversion happens, then what's really great is that it pulls all of the old history, so everything he did before he even told us who he was, into his contacts. So it gives you that 306-year review of everything that he's done since day one, since the very first interaction with your website. It's a good question.
Okay, next question. Is there a cost for Power BI? You want me to answer that?
That would be a Rob question.
So in the Dynamics, Microsoft Dynamics CRM suite, if you're with the online version of it, you have an option to add Power BI and a bunch of other tools. So depending on the licensing model you purchase, it comes with that licensing model. So I guess the quick answer is yes, there is a cost, but it's fairly negligible. It's a very powerful tool. So what it does is, Jesse showed how it was taking data and giving you a visual representation of that data on a map and different charts and things. And so that's basically what it does. It takes the data that you would typically use in Excel and in tables in CRM, and gives you a powerful ability to use visual tools to visualize data on maps and charts and graphs and things like that. That's my very simplified version of what Power BI does. If you'd like to see it more, you want to talk about it some more, you can either reach out to me, Rob Triggs from CRM Dynamics, or we will be having someone reach out to everybody on the call today. You can ask them at that point in time too. Next question, Jesse, is my dashboard graphs showing page views no longer show. They say the maximum record limit is exceeded. What is the max?
So the maximum record limit is actually a CRM limit record. So I think, is it 5,000, Rob?
I think so,
Do
yeah.
you know that question? I think that once you hit 5,000, you probably want to look at some of our recommendations for purging those page views, like old page views and old cookies. We will follow up with you after this event. I have some really great recommendations on how to limit the web tracking data so you don't hit those limits, because a lot of that page view data actually becomes irrelevant after a period of time or after cookies are old, things like that. So we have some good recommendations for you.
Yeah, the next comment is the same person who asked the question around Power BI. Is just saying that their implementation is on-premise. So if you're interested in migrating from on-premise to the cloud, we can help you do that. Or if you're looking at setting up your on-premise implementation to do more for your company, we can also help you with that too. All right. So
are they asking, Rob, about if ClickDimensions is compatible with on-premise?
They didn't, but I think that's probably a good point for you to bring up if you like.
Yeah, so just so everybody knows, the solution is a managed solution. It's built on Microsoft Azure, but it connects to both an on-premise deployment and a CRM Online deployment. So just, I guess, a quick answer to that.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Probably about 2 years ago, 80% of all the projects we were doing were on-premise implementations. And now I've got to say probably 99% of any net new implementation we do is in the cloud. It's either in the Microsoft CRM Online cloud or in our private hosted cloud offering that we have. So it's very interesting. The shift has happened so fast. We've even had customers that we've set up on-premise like a year and a half ago, maybe almost 2 years ago, and they're already switching and moving to the cloud now. And so it is something that every organization, I think, should take a look at to see what the see if it's feasible for the organization. But Microsoft's development plan and roadmap, feature roadmap, is extremely aggressive as it relates to the CRM Online version of CRM. And so all future development is going to launch in the CRM Online version first, and then on-premise second, and some features will not be available for CRM on-premise, only CRM Online. So one of the examples of that right now is actually something called social listening. So the ability to actually monitor social channels for different sentiments, so different phrases and keywords, and that's only available, as far as I know, it's only available in the on-premise implementation. So if you're looking at moving to the cloud or want to do that, let us know and we can help you decide whether or not that's right for you, and if it is or isn't, the timing for that. Okay, there's no more questions here, Jesse.
All right. Well, again, we invite you to reach out to Rob and myself after this. We're happy to set up a one-to-one session and talk more about your unique industry needs. So just please let us know.
Absolutely. So I'd like to thank Jesse for presenting this to our audience today, and you'll be hearing from us to see if we can help you further. So thank you, everybody. Have a great afternoon and the rest of your day.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.